We'll call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone please rise.
Kurt to come and give our invocation. It's Judge Sons.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Let us pray. Dear Lord Jesus, we lift this group up to you, this very august body, and as we psych out your guidance on so many of the issues that face Wichita County and all of the people, we thank you for all of those that are here today and be honoring them. We ask a special blessing for them. We thank you for the county government. We thank you for good minds and good leadership as we make good decisions for the people and for our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
This time I'd like to ask Commander Jimenez and his cadre to come forward and lead us in the pledges.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Come.
Did you? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. About face.
Thank you, Judge.
Jeez, Sergeant.
President Arnold.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. No, yeah, you did it.
One and indivisible.
Amen.
I was That's twice I've done.
We're off to a great start today.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be gone all next week.
I'm just glad it was you instead of me.
Amen. All righty. We have two people we'd like to honor. I'm going to call up by seniority and beauty as Christy Callan has both on Will Rutledge. Is Sheriff here? All right, well, I'll do this for you all. And Chief Show's not here either, is he? Well, Chief, why don't you come on up since you're the senior person from the Sheriff's Department, and then you'll already be up here. All right. All right. Christy, I appreciate you being able to be part of this because I think I've known you most all of this time. And this certificate is presented to Christy D. Callan for 25 years of service to Wichita County. Congratulations on reaching your milestone service anniversary. Through your hard work, dedication, and loyalty, Wichita County is able to provide quality service to the citizens of Wichita County. In honor of your service, we are pleased to present you with this watch bearing the Wichita County seal as your 25th year anniversary gift. Please accept your gift as an expression of our gratitude for the contributions you continue to make every day. On behalf of the Commissioners Court, we commend you for your service and wish you every success in your continuing your career toward the next milestone. Your commitment to Wichita County is deeply appreciated. Signed this 23rd day of May by Chief Deputy Darrell Choate and Sheriff David Duke. Here's that, and these are nice watches. See? Yeah. So why don't we show that off a little bit? Now, do you have family here? Anybody you want to introduce?
Husband, John, and my mom, Judy.
All right, we're glad to have you all here. You want to say anything? If you don't, I'm going to be terribly surprised. I've never seen you lost for words.
It's just been an honor to work here for as long as I have, for everybody to keep me here for as long as I have. It started out just to be a stepping stone for me, but I fell in love, and I've been here for 25 years now.
Well, we're certainly glad. I've always enjoyed working with you. I've never found you to hold back when you thought you had something to say, and it's appreciated for somebody to say it straight on.
Judy, why don't you
Yes,
and John come up here and we take a picture while we're going?
It is happening. No, I started earlier.
Chief, if you just go in there with him too. Judge.
All right.
Yeah, but,
We'll go back and something.
All right. Very good. Yeah. There you go. You're welcome. All righty. Well, this is for 10 years service, and I didn't know Chief Rutledge as well as the last few years we've got to work together, and I'm not going to read almost the same, except he gets a deal. He gets to pick out his gift, and from an assortment of things, I think you get $1 a year for each year you were something like that. No, it is better than that. But what I have found with Chief Rutledge, you can sit and talk to him, what you ask for, you get back. He explains things. I have really appreciated that working relationship that you have had with my office and with the other officials, and we do congratulate you for 10 years. And so, thank you very much. All right, I would ask the court to take action on the consent agenda if we could get that out of the way, and one other item, and then I want to deal with the item involving the district judges. Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda. Judge.
I'll second it, Judge, and I did have a comment
Okay.
on the easement agreement. Meredith, I'm thinking that is one of two. I just,
At least two.
Okay.
I think there may be one more property owner that they're still trying to.
Oh, okay.
Locate these
Okay.
on the easement.
this is the very first one off of Highway 25 that goes into the first segment of that waterway, and it's the Gilbert family heirs there, so that's what, that one's knocked out anyway and complete.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Sir? Did you, he's, you know, saying, no, I looked at it and realized that the corridors were two different ones being modified. Okay, item number one is to review and approve the regular bills for payment.
We reviewed the bills on Friday, Judge, I'd make a motion to pay the bills.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the bills that were presented. Any comments or questions on the bills? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. All right, thank you. Item number two is discuss and consider take action on transferring the court administrator's office under the control of the Wichita County District Judges. We had looked into this some time back, and we're waiting on a court decision to be made that determined how that could be done, and that has been finalized in that issue in Galveston County. And so after meeting with the judges and seeing some actions they wanted taken, I have proposed to the court that we transfer the Office of Court Administrator's office under the control of the Wichita County District Judges. And I would appreciate a second to that.
I'll second that, Judge.
I'm going to take Commissioner Watts. He's worked with me the most on that. Thank you, Harvey. Okay. Any comments, any discussion to be made on that?
I'd just like to say, Judge, that I've spoke to everyone involved here. Everyone felt this was a good move, and it's going to be, we're lucky to have such a strong court administrator. Aniel, are you here? Thank you for the good tedious work you do every day. So I know those fellows back there appreciate it just as much as I do. So thank you. And after talking to everyone, I felt very good about comfort level I had with this change.
Gentlemen, do y'all have anything to add to that, or?
I don't believe so. We're very much in favor of it.
Okay.
And we do appreciate what Andiella and hers, all the staff members.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'd call for the vote, and the motion by Judge Gossam, second by Commissioner Watts. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all. Appreciate you taking the time to leave reports and come. Okay, item 3 is receive a department update from the Ag Extension Office agents. Mr. Graff,
Yes,
Ms. Mitchell.
yeah, I want to make sure people haven't met Katrina Mitchell. She is our 4-H agent, started back in January, and a co-worker with me. Just doing a tremendous job. We're glad to have her. I've given each of you a little one-page deal. Just kind of gives some highlights for agriculture and horticulture in the county in the last few months, and I'm not going to go into all that. A couple of points is we reached over 100 cotton producers at our ranch and farm show for some training that's required for cotton producers. We've got our producers now that are making between 1 and 2 acres per bale of cotton, dry land, and this will help us be able to continue to do that. We've offered some CEUs, worked with Lee Harvey, Commercial Harvey at the precinct building there, reach over 60 people with the city, county, and municipals there for some training that they needed. We've got a demonstration going with that's got the potential to change cattle producers and that for this region with a few new grass that may replace a lot of the wheat here. So a number of things listed there. I'm gonna let Katrina and her kids talk to them.
So thank you for having us out today. I brought a couple of groups of some 4-H'ers. It's growing and having a lot of fun, a lot of success in Wichita County. And so Hayden Lovelady's going to start, and then we're going to, when he's done, Miss Libera is going to talk about our robotics team and what they've done recently. So,
I'm just going to discuss some of the things that I've done through 4-H, and I just want to start off saying that 4-H is not just about showing animals by any means. There's more stuff to do, not with animals, than there is with animals. But it has given me the opportunity to be a leader in my community. I distribute food once a month for people who have food insecurities. I've helped the master gardeners at Fane Elementary working with kids to help get them involved in agriculture. I've helped with rabbit weigh-in at the county show, mentored several young 4-H'ers on showing and raising rabbits and goats. I volunteered to work with the animals at the Home and Garden Show to educate people on those animals. Was able to help with the dog agility trial competition. And 4-H just gives many opportunities for people to do. Some of the things that my personal projects are I show goats at county, local, and state levels. This year alone, I've shown at St. Angela and San Antonio. Participate in Ag ID, which is identifying agriculture at district levels. Trap shoot at district levels. I do educational presentations at the District 3 roundups. Photography, record books, and 4-H does have a nearly unlimited supply of stuff that you can do through 4-H. And I am a member of the Valley 4-H Club, where I serve as county delegate. I regularly attend meetings for my club and for the 4-H Council. And I promote 4-H through TV, newspapers, and online interviews. And the last thing that I will say is I attended as a member of the Community Futures Forum to help the Extension Office help the community.
Wow. That's pretty doggone. Do you go to school also?
Sorry.
I'm teasing you, but you go to school also? You've got a full-time job there.
Well, when I'm not doing this,
Okay, very good, thank you.
I certainly hope you're headed to Texas A&M.
I sure hope so too.
They've raised the standards, Commissioner didn't make it.
And Judge, I see him in church on Sunday morning, so that's
All
also.
right, very good.
That's also.
Very good. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Can I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
This is my child.
I can tell by the
That
glow.
he does all the things he does, and Katrina really helps him to give him these opportunities to take them. I mean, he still has to take them and do them. But as a mother, I want to say that he also goes to school and he makes straight A's and he takes honors classes. So he doesn't just do one thing. He plays tennis, he plays in the band. So he's really kind of a well-rounded kid and takes responsibility for all that stuff, you know, to do well and not take on things that he doesn't think he can do or do well. And be a good example for 4-H and the other kids that get to see him. So I just had to say that.
The important thing is, Mom, it takes a family to do that. And you have a family of professionals, the kids, you, the parent leaders, the people that support it. It's bigger than any one of us, but it sure helps bring about something like your son and the other young men and women we have.
Yeah,
seen
and he's
represent-
not, this isn't special, like, he's on, a lot of these 4-H kids are in the same boat he's in. They're doing a lot of things, they're keeping up with their school, they're doing school activities, they're involved in a lot of things. And so I'm sure you'll find with these kids also, that they're just really well-rounded kids.
We have 2 of them made it on the commissioner's court.
They're-
All right. Who else was?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Diana Navarra, and this is my robotics team: Jack Bowler, Joey Newton, y'all stand up, Joseph Ibarra, and Kai Glover. And I've been coaching them for 5 years. My son, the longest, and then the others have joined in. And we've had the opportunity to go to Texas Tech to compete the last 4 years. They took first place in all categories the last 3 years. This year they had so many technical difficulties. They had a defect, we found out after we went to compete. They went to compete with a defective battery, a defective intelligent brick, and motors that were broken. And they still made it into the finals with all of that. Out of
Holy cow.
250 teams, they made it to the finals with 27 other teams.
Oh, we need another one of these.
So we had the opportunity this last weekend to represent Wichita County in Grayson County at the 4-H competition they had there, and they took first place. We replaced all our equipment before we went.
Oh, good.
And they took first place there in all 3 categories for Wichita County. So they start out with an intelligent brick and motors
There you go.
and different
Inspired.
sensors that they can program, which is coding, and then of course a battery, and a ton of little tiny Lego pieces. And they have to brainstorm and decide. Texas Tech puts out the challenge every year, and around February they have 6 to 8 weeks to decide how they're going to approach the challenge, how they're going to solve it. They brainstorm, they build a robot from nothing, they build all the attachments that they need to meet the challenge on the table. They have 2 minutes at competition to meet all of the challenges on the table against all the other teams. They run 4 matches. So
Does that thing work?
it does work.
There's a big table right there.
Yeah, is it powered up, Joe? Do you want to turn it on? It'll take a minute for it to turn on.
They not give Commissioner Harvey the control.
It takes just a second for it to power up. Y'all want to say anything about robotics? Not a thing? You have something to say, Joseph?
My voice box is in the garage.
Is it? Okay.
I just noticed that every one of them have a Marbles t-shirt on.
They are, the name of their team is the Justice League.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
It's not Marvel.
It's DC.
DC. Different universe.
It's a comic band. That is cool.
So anyway, I think, is it almost ready?
Yes.
There it goes. Y'all are gonna have to go around the table, make sure it doesn't go off.
Yeah, I need like some
Since they have a course.
for now.
I don't know what he's gonna run, just let him run it.
Just do like Blackatron or something.
Really, you might want to put your helmet on. down
You got Joel in the back.
You want to skip over, make sure it doesn't,
David-
this
David's
part,
here.
act like this is the middle piece.
Okay, just do like that.
Wow.
Is somebody driving that?
No, it's programmed, so they had to write code in a computer and
Wow.
program it, download it onto the intelligent brick, and then they just run the program. Once they push it, it runs the program that they wrote and does what it needs to do.
Individual motor for each wheel. I see that.
Yes. You want to show?
Grab?
Yes. Show them. Yeah, and it does grab, so we'll go out and grab things.
Do I even have
If we could build a big enough one of those, we could do hay with it.
And
You
the-
program that
sensors
we
do-
may weather coming up. That might be-
Yeah, that might be tough, yeah.
This is like an ultrasonic sensor, so what it does is it would shoot out like a burst of sound that would be like inaudible to us, but it will come back, and depending on how long it takes the sound to reverberate back, that tells it how far away whatever it hit was. So you can say like, you only get this close to this, and you do something else.
Wow. Where do y'all go to school?
We are homeschooled.
They're all homeschooled.
Wow.
Wow, that's all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Do you have any other questions?
Oh, keep it up.
you. You
That's all.
think if we carried one of those intelligent bricks in our pocket, it would help? Do you think that?
I don't know, because it does decide to go haywire whenever it doesn't want to behave.
We already have that problem.
Katrina, I know this is just a sample, but it makes you really proud to know that we've got this kind of youth in Wichita County. Tremendous.
Exactly. You know, we don't always, the good kids don't always get the publicity and the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of negativity in the media and everything, so it's really great to be able to showcase these kids and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
good work that they're doing. And
So-
their families are supporting.
I've been lucky to know Hayden all of his life and watch him grow up and turn into a fine young man and a smart boy, so it's proud to have him in Iowa Park.
4-H is well over 100 years old now.
Yes.
Yeah. Originated in Jack County, Texas.
Yeah.
We got a little sign down there,
Yeah.
home 4-H.
Yes, that's Texas birthplace of 4-H.
Neat program. Jeff, you went through it, I went through it. It's a good program.
I dated some girls that was in for it.
I bet you did.
Thank you.
Like that,
Yeah. Yes, sir, Sheriff.
I'd just like to say to these young men and women, that thank you for what you're doing, and hopefully that a lot of your peers in school see what you do, and that would be a great, for society, so you don't have to come stand for some of these justices of peace or district judges get sent to the county jail or prison. And this is where it starts at home,
Yeah.
and we preach this all the time. It starts at home with teaching your kids the rights and wrongs, and being able to do these things is something else. I wish I could have done something like that when I was a kid. My dad would, he'd take my Legos and my Lincoln Logs away from me and cut the grass. That's what I did. It's something that I think is, I've never seen something like that. And I was looking at it and how it was built, and you know, I've got a little 7-year-old that's probably on the same mindset as these guys are. He's always tinkering and making things, and so I encourage him to. Of course, sometimes he's got to build it, and I just look at it, it all parts of me. But I think this is a fine example of what society and schools need to be learning from is individuals just like these guys and gals. And I'm proud of every one of you on what y'all do and what y'all programs are great. It's a great program.
Thank you.
All righty, well, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Maybe you can get her a maroon shirt.
Give one in flowers, Larry, man. Give one in flowers.
David, do you all have an idea when your new Better Living for Texans person is going to be?
I haven't heard any.
Okay, I didn't think so. I think they've got to advertise now and select someone and,
Yeah, I talked to them last week, I think
All
by
right.
the end of August. but-
okay, very good, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Okay, item 4 is discuss, consider, take action to approve activation of 2 cellular phones for the U.S. Cellular contract to be used for primary and secretary on call for district judges and county court of law judges for blood warrants at a cost of $40 per month per phone to be paid from non-departmental judicial 443. We had looked at this, the judges brought us this some time ago, and we're just getting everything implemented into doing, and this is the last stage of it. And this one judge will be the primary, they have a rotating schedule, the other judge will be the backup if they can't get that one. So this will save officers time, they'll be able to do electronic signatures, and I'd ask the court to go ahead and take action on this.
Second.
Any questions or comments by anyone in the audience? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as stated. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 5 is discuss, consider, and take action to establish the Office of Jail Coordinator. The sheriff received an email from via Chief Rutledge. They'd like to change that to the Office of Bond Management. Is that correct, Sheriff?
Bond Office Manager.
Well, the office needs to be, just trust me, the office is one thing, the title of the person is the manager. So, yes, ma'am.
So we configured all that in Odyssey. It's called the Jail Coordinator. It's already been done in code, and the nodes and cues, and it can't be changed at this point.
Oh, okay.
We still call it. The Mickey Mouse Club, we still call it management.
The software will remain. If you wish to put a different sign up there on that, we can live with that. But the people using the software aren't going to be, the people we are dealing with as customers are not going to be using the software. So it might make it easier for them to, okay. Any other comments on this? One of the things I visited with the JPs last week, and again with Judge Sons this morning, and I think, Sheriff, what you have conveyed to them about in the selection of personnel, that you're going to take their input on it. You're looking at the existing personnel. I think that's very positive. But as Judge Sons and I talked about this morning, the software is one thing, and how we implement and the management is going to take a lot of growing time as this goes on. And then kind of in the same idea, especially in the management of bonds and PR bonds and things, it's going to take some growth there, but Jim Rasmussen, primary author of some ideas I gave him, he put them together. We've submitted for a grant from Texas Indigent Defense Commission to have a portion of the Public Defender's Office dedicated to work with those people that are assigned to them and trying to help make sure they make it to court. We do things to work on improvement of their lifestyle and choices and those sort of things. Judge Baker, glad to see you here except for that sling on your arm. I understand you fell the other day and fractured your elbow, and you're going to have some surgery probably, or you don't know yet. Yeah. Okay, well, hope you don't.
Both of the judges got right on those problems, both of them really. Tennis elbow.
Oh, okay. I didn't see yours, Judge. You look a little better for the wear. Judge Baker looks like she's got some pain right now. So, at any rate, judges, you all have some comments you wanted to make. I know you all had met and talked about it some, and right now it's, as I told Judge Sons, nothing is in concrete other than we need to apply the current version of the software that had to move on. I do want to apologize again to you all. Once this thing started moving down the track, we had to do something. And I think it's how we adjust from that, because the software people to hit the go-live date had to have a framework to work on. Ashley or Sam, I don't know if you all had something to
Could y'all kind of walk us, Ash, or tell us about going forward from go live? We're going to have to actually function as a a detail or a pulled-together department, right? I mean, we'll see that's coming together more and more and more.
As we started implementing Odyssey and started going through the business process of everything, there's a lot of job functions that Odyssey does either on its own, on the back end, or things that we can create tasks to run, and so it started eliminating job functions, not only in CMO, but in other areas throughout the county. CMO was basically designed as a place to hold the paperwork of someone coming into the jail until they are charged or indicted, or the case moving forward to get moved into the county clerk or district clerk. So that's where that started out. And Odyssey is basically doing the majority of that function on its own. The magistration process through the years, we implemented video magistration where the judges didn't have to go, and so we advanced, but unfortunately the current software we have with LGS didn't advance with us, so it made Terry have to come up with some cumbersome ways to get some things done. We were able to take the functionality in Tyler with our video magistration. Sam and Vanessa and a lot of us went to outlining counties, saw how they did things. Sam and Vanessa basically designed our magistration to be completely paperless. They took the best qualities of all these different counties, made tweaks and adjustments, and I really think it's something that is pretty awesome. So that whole process from coming into the jail through magistration is now completely paperless. There is no paper. So moving forward, there were some things that needed to be able to be done in the magistration room to make it even more effective. Having a clerk actually in the magistration with the inmates that allowed that paperless to continue. Let the inmate see what they're signing, sign it digitally, go over any questions that they had, their bond conditions, if they have emergency protective orders so it can be explained to them. We had ongoing issues with indigent paperwork. A lot of them didn't really understand how to fill it out. They might have questions. They would leave with it, and then it was very cumbersome trying to get it back. So we designed this as they're going to get it ahead of time. They'll be allowed to ask questions. The plan is to have them fill it out in the magistration room, where it can then be scanned in and sent directly to Christine Court Administrator's office. And then we can put time standards on it, that if they take it out with them, 24-hour notice will go to jail coordinator, the new office, to let them know, hey, you need to go get with the inmate and get that paperwork. So there's a lot of new things. There's a lot of things we weren't even realizing that weren't being done. Notifying the Social Security office when someone's been in jail. So we took all these things and we combined them together, and we took the same concept from Collin County. They have an actual jail coordinator's office. So we took all these functions and all these leftover pieces that either weren't being done or something that was make something more efficient. And the bonds, currently our bonds are taken by the DOs. They're handling money, and so we wanted something that a DO no longer had to take that money and to be in charge of money. So we took all of that and combined it all together, and we made the software do these functions, and then we needed an office to run. So basically we're taking what the bond section of the sheriff's office does, what CMO does, and we're combining it into one. In the future, technology is ever growing, and we're ever looking to improve and make things paperless and things like that. So, there could very well be more things that we see in the future that this office would be perfect to handle, seeing as they're in the jail. Like I said, we're never going to be stepping back to paper. It's going to be going the other way. So we just needed an office that was basically laid around the technology that Odyssey had to offer.
So who will this person be, this jail coordinator?
That is the decision the sheriff will.
Sheriff has said he'll work with the JPs in making that selection.
are we gonna utilize current CMO office right now just to hub this and pull it together? Is that how we're going? I mean, are we gonna need another space somewhere to?
We will need an office space for this new office to house the team, space for them to have computers.
So it won't be an existing employee.
No, that's not been said.
They're working on that, Lee.
Well, my thought is if it's an existing employee that knows how things work around here, they're already in office, they already have a computer, why would you lose?
Well, because there's going to be 5 of them altogether, so said and done, or at least 4, so they're gonna have to come together, and they're gonna be working on things as we progress every day collectively. And the hours, I believe we've pulled a time frame together for hours. There's gonna be needing some rotation probably for different ones, and I think they'll all, at said and done, will be jailers, right? They'll have license, Lisa, to participate or to be up to the standard in the jail.
In that office will be required to get their jailer's license.
And this will allow us to maybe have a lot of flexibility in doing arraignments or whatever the case be, I guess.
Correct. So yeah. So once they're jailers, they don't have to have a DO with them during the time of magistration. If there is paperwork that needs to be gotten or filled out or signed for an inmate once they're a jailer, of course they don't have to have a DO to support them, or it gives them much more flexibility throughout the jail.
Will it ultimately be at the LEC?
Yes, but right now it's gonna kind of be.
We're in limbo right now.
Well, I think we're gonna have to look at that move we discussed once about moving the mail rooms into Mr. Hampton's area. He'd offered that, taking that office there and moving either the other IT, but clearing out that area where warrants and collections, look at how that might be rearranged for the next little over a year. But I think electronically, they're not far apart. Proximity, if they're both on that hallway, they're not going to be far apart. But there's not, I don't know of any hidden room that we can put them all in right now.
They will go to the new facility.
Yes, and that is designed for that purpose.
And that all of the judges then, at some point in the future, will be able to do this from their office as well through video.
That will be at Go Live.
At Go Live, we'll already be ready to do that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, every JP will be able to read their rights directly from their office in their precinct. There won't be a need to come back.
Yes, ma'am, Judge Baker.
They think that all the CMO office does is magistration, but we have hearings, EPOs, we have EPO hearings, we have other show cause hearings. What about that? I mean, we could be in our office, are they gonna have to come out to Electra or Bible Park or Burke or Wichita? I mean,
No.
Is anybody, there was other functions of that office that a JP does, not just magistrate, that's just one of them. So I was wondering how that would figure into it. You guys have
I
thought?
think that may be one of the things we have to look at what can be done. Sam?
So I can speak on behalf of just what the software functionality has in that. And one of the things is we're kind of a unique county in which we have a CMO office. And we understood that you did more than just magistration. So we have fought Tyler and we worked with Tyler because it wasn't a normal functionality in your system to have a pre-file case. To have a case that builds through. So we've worked with them, we've built it out, and pretty much essentially gave you the full functionality of Odyssey through that pre-file. So in terms of the system and what the software is capable of, it's going to be able to accommodate for all of those actions, regardless of who does it or what location.
Judge, what were you speaking of? I mean, I don't understand that process, I guess.
Let's just say we issue an emergency protective order. Then one person decides, well, I don't want that on me. So they come in and they file saying they want it dropped. Well, then we have to have a hearing with both of them present and the judge decide if they want to drop the EPO hearing.
regardless of where they reside.
regardless of where they reside. Okay.
But-
And we have been doing it, the judge that reads on the EPO is the one that has the EPO here. From the way it is, it seems like it's gonna throw a lot more work onto these two here, because I don't know how many are gonna want to come to our surrounding offices.
But I think we can do that electronically, can't we? That can be done by video.
It can be done by video,
It can be done by
electronically.
video, but where are the people gonna be?
They can come to the courthouse and,
We're in the courthouse, you
Set up
can,
for 'em?
yes.
Somebody can talk. Okay. We'll see how it works.
and I think that's the big answer to everything, as Judge Sons and I talked about this morning. You know, until you wade all the way to the other end of the pool, you don't know how deep the water was. So we're gonna be a while getting there. But
I'm sorry, I had to step out for just a minute. I have requested a meeting with Sam last week, and obviously he's up to his ears in alligators right now. There's some issues that we need to visit with concerning the magistration, and we were not able to last week. We'll get to that this week. So.
Judge, I just appreciate you all's understanding and getting involved in this, because, you know, you've got full partners for you all, the five of you, to come together and work with the sheriff. I think he's made things to assure you that he's going to make that as open a process as he can. And we may have to sit down and go over some things, and you know, I will certainly be glad to meet with you all, and Commissioner Watts were the two that work with IT, and I've had the most to do with the implementation of the Odyssey from the Commissioner's Court. So, you know, it's just a matter of trying to feel through those things and see how they're working and make suggestions for changes.
Again, I apologize. I've been in close contact with Chief Rutledge and Sheriff Duke on the changes that are coming. We understand it's IT driven, and it's important that we're able to work with Odyssey, but it's also important that because it's the two groups that's going to be doing it, that these two groups are able to work together with Odyssey. We do think there's going to be some major changes simply because of the program taking over so much of our responsibility, and we appreciate that. But
Lisa.
Captain Patterson was out of town last week, and between Captain Patterson and Terry, they're the ones that know how each of those offices work. So we'll be working very closely with them on the new office and how that new office is going to be established. We know there's going to be less work, less entry. We know that those things are going to take place, and we know that, but to be honest with you, commissioners and judge, we're not real sure how this is going to go down as once we get sure. So we appreciate your patience in working with us.
That being unsure is the most sure thing I know so far right now. But I think we've got enough good people to work together to look at how we can make this the best possible outcome. So I appreciate the openness you all approached this with.
I do too, and just like the development of CMO, kind of a same thing, I guess, happening again now, redevelopment of processes. But Terry, I want to thank you for keeping our jail numbers down, girl. You have done a fantastic job and worked very hard at that. I've seen them all year long. You've been diligent with that, so we appreciate all of that hard work coming out of CMO's office. And I know you stay on top of that all the time, and the JP spoke to us about it in budget last year. Y'all went right to work doing that, so we really appreciate that. And Ashley, Sam, Meredith, I know that's been a lot of coordination, a lot of effort, and a lot of moving parts going in, and Sam taking the time to understand what everybody else is doing and tweaking the parts we like out of it the best. I mean, we got you to thank for that kind of good program going forward, and all the more reason it's taken us till now, because we wanted, and this team has wanted things to be right and be solid and everybody understanding, so I appreciate that.
If it wasn't for Sam and Vanessa, we would be in a world of hurt right
Yeah.
now. I can honestly say that. They've pretty awesome things, and there's some things on the list, of post-go-live events that are gonna be even more cool, but the whole tech committee, they've lived up there in that room and done things, and it's really, really great. We get lots of compliments on our team here, so.
Good. Judge Sons?
My only concern is, we just got the information, as you all know, Judge, just last week, that office was going to be established, needed to be established as soon as property. We're a little concerned, we were just given late notice. We heard lots and lots of rumors, but we were never given definitive answers until this last week. So just know that there may be, we're treading through new territory.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we're just asking for your understanding as we work through these new territories and how we're going to handle this. As you well know, we have new judges. We depend so much on Terry and her knowledge that we do not want to lose the efficiency of that office. And we want to make sure that they're still there to able to do kindness. I visited with the sheriff and the chief, and they're very understanding of what our needs are. We as the judges cannot be ignored in this. So I want to make sure that you know, we as judges, it's very important that you listen to what our needs are also.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys are gonna do great. I mean, I know you're apprehensive. I think you're gonna smoke it out. You're gonna love it. I think you will.
Okay. Let me revise this motion a little bit. It's ask the court to take action to establish the Office of Bond Management utilizing the jail coordinator software underneath the Wichita County Sheriff effective June 1st, 2019, and to be funded from Fund 409 that was set up in the budget for this year.
So moved. For a second, what do you want?
Before you make a vote on that, we are not dissolving the CMO office.
No, ma'am.
As of June 1st. Am I
No, ma'am.
correct on
You're
that?
correct.
The office is not dissolving.
No, but they will blend together and come together and, but there's nobody being sent out the door or anything changing.
That CMO office is not losing their jobs June 1st.
No, ma'am.
And what are y'all predicting that it will dissolve into or merge into the new one?
I don't think anybody, I think if anything, we have to add somebody from everybody we've got. I don't think.
I don't want the staff of SOAR, the staff of 3, to be told, we go live in July, then all of a sudden in July you're saying you are terminated. That is not, you are promising this office, these judges, that will not happen.
Hang on just a second. Sheriff, you have we're kind of pushing people into what you're going to be responsible for. The 2 clerks, Terry's I don't know whether you're going to be an applicant for the supervisor of that or not, but she is budgeted through the end of the year. So, that part is there. And now, Judge, what else?
Are we going to have a say? Are the judges going to have a say? Or is the jail, the sheriff, and the IT going to control us?
I think we'll work with that. I don't think anybody's going to be 100% dictator in this. I have worked with Sheriff Duke for years, never seen him act that way, and I have assured you I will stay involved in it, but I can't have a 25-pronged motion that everybody tries to figure out later what was meant by it. We're going to establish that office. I can give you my influence for whatever it's worth is to keep the people there that are intact now and blend together this new function together to bring all those things under one office.
Who will put together the line items in the new budget and develop those as far as?
We've already developed the job descriptions, because that was one of the things the court wanted to look at in terms of what the office would do. So the job descriptions are done. Just a matter of figuring out who's going to do what functions within that. I want to start by back up a little bit and start by saying that when the technology committee was created, marching orders were to figure out what this county wanted ultimately. And what it wanted was an integrated system that moved stuff through this courthouse without shuffling red folders and paper, and everything came from the jail straight to the JPs, straight to our office, and then to the courts. And Odyssey's providing that integrated system. But in order for that to happen, the culture of this county has got to change. I have never seen, and I've worked for the state, offices that fight amongst themselves as much as our county does. And I'm not talking about CMO or jail or whatever. I'm talking about across the entire county. This software is going to require us to be a team in the future. What you do in one section of the team affects the rest of us, which is why the governing board of the technology committee is going to continue after this software is in place. Because we have to make sure that what one office wants doesn't affect the rest of us. So the goal is to make everything as successful as possible. The new jail is going to have a huge book-in area where we're not having to house people. We'll be able to get them out. If they're going to bond out in 24 hours, they will never go into housing. So we need to have magistration running efficiently out at the facility. We knew that going in. We just happened to be going live before the facility is built. So once the facility's built, I think this process will be in place because you're taking these steps now, and we can work together to figure out who does what and how it gets done and all of that.
And it's going to take a while to develop what line items would be applicable. We know personnel. We've defined that. We've set aside money for that. It's how much copy paper, how much this, how many computers. Some of that's already on hand. It's going to be a work in progress.
The equipment that I requested last Monday included all the equipment that office would need.
Okay.
And we'll see it, I guess, evolve again as we move or transition to LEC and it becomes in motion with what's going on out there in our modern process of putting people in holding for a period of time versus the way we have to do it today. And
right. We just, myself, Sam Nessa, and especially the tech committee, we really wanted to have this office up and functioning prior to go live, because we need to run through a couple scenarios, make sure, test everything out. This is new, not only new office, new personnel, new computer system, but we just don't want to flip the switch without running some dry runs. Yeah, and Tyler absolutely has to know who they will be training. We have, training, 3 weeks now? Mm-hmm. 3 weeks from now, we start Tyler training, and we have the business process set up, but they need to know who they're going to be training.
That's why we're continuing this discussion. Can we get our veterans to come up here and sit down? If your knees are as bad as mine, I don't want to see y'all standing there. Come on up front and sit down. Yeah, we've got some vacant chairs. I see these guys having to stand too. Not that they're completely capable, but they'll come on up and sit down.
Okay, any other comments?
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't have the sun in your eyes, did you?
True.
Okay. All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Harvey. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, I thought I'd get that down. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Appreciate everybody's willingness to see how we work this out. Probably the first thing we probably need to do is to set up something for a meeting. Either Sheriff, I'm going to hope we'll look internally. I think as far as filling those positions.
Yes.
And if we do that, then we'll get this together. You may need one additional person outside, or there might be someone interested in coming across from another office or position. So we'll see what we do there. But let's don't let it go long before we pick a date out there and say, let's sit down and talk about how it's going. So I'd like for everybody, to look at something being maybe the first Thursday or something after you get your personnel selections done, that we can sit down and talk with everybody and see what we really feels like is coming out. There will have been some additional software exchange and information. Under the Tyler University stuff, can they jump to the jail coordinator software to see how that particular part of that works?
Now, Tyler University is very generic in terms of just how Tyler works.
Okay, yeah.
The jail coordinator, even our magistration, if we are with CMO, it's business process in Wichita County.
Yeah,
That's why the training is so important, because they train on our business.
Train on our business process, okay.
And where do y'all have some place identified that will kind of hub this as it comes together here? I mean, are we going to, we've got a location picked out where we can.
For training?
Well, no, for our development of the coordinator department, where we can start. I mean, I'm assuming that once we're live, we're gonna need to be all working together and pushing what they push, and so where are we gonna do that at?
That's something, I mean, that's what my big I mean, y'all have to, all I can tell you is if we just get, a place and functioning prior to go live, so we can get it ready to go.
Well, there's not just a whole lot of places, so I'd say in that area right there, that hallway is, look at how that can be rearranged there and get that done.
We got some empty jail cells up there. Put a window in.
Okay, work with Commissioner Beecham on that. He's over the buildings. And slight sidebar to all that, the new LED lights when I came in this weekend, in the area down there where records, they had the lights off, Sheriff, because it was bright. Those are very effective, but it's brighter than his eye comfortable, so I might take a look at that. But I was only talking to the two ladies who were in there about 4 o'clock yesterday. I don't know how the rest of the group feels, but they had the lights pretty well turned off in records because of how bright it is in there. So we might, we may have overachieved.
Well, they're putting
They
that
work
light
out
in
pretty good
there.
on third shift, is those dogs.
Sir?
They may work out good on third shift, they want to wait.
Okay, well, I thought it was exceptionally dark, but I didn't realize till after I'd stumbled up the stairs, I had my sunglasses on instead of my regular glasses. They are, but they may be.
We can work with them to back off on the number of lights once the
They're
Yeah, okay.
putting those new lights in my shop too, my remodel, and they actually come with a dimmer. You can slide it and adjust the brightness for whatever you need at that time.
that extra cost that we didn't include in the project. We could look at that.
I don't think it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that, please. Okay, let's go to item number 6. It's discussed here to take action to accept Texas Association of Counties Law Enforcement Liability Insurance. I have sent you all that information, but just in case you didn't really have it, I have that. There were 2 different cost options to it. Excuse me. Well, I sent it to you when we first got it, not long after we first got it.
Oh, this is the one where you had the.
Well, it's for all of the law enforcement area, and it basically, if we get the $2 million policy, it's $91,853. If we get the $3 million policy, it's 115, I think. 10. What's on? Is it I think they included that if we
Now,
wanted.
is this something new for us, Judge?
Yes, we have not ever had this, and the idea behind this is we looked at the requirements, if we go into the marshal's contract, which we've been in for years, when 2 different sheriffs signed off on it, but you have to be PREA, Prison Rape Elimination Act compliant. There's a number of things in that, and Meredith had advised us. She was concerned about whether we could always meet those standards and whether there might be some litigation, and we were reluctant on continuing the contract. Then we came up with the idea to get the liability insurance, and with the new rate that we would qualify for, it will more than pay for these premiums and gives us that additional coverage. To me, it's a good investment. It's just today is a matter of choice. Meredith's gone through the contract. We sent a couple of changes to them, and we don't think there'll be a problem in working those out with them. And it adds into our other coverage, which oddly enough will give us some additional discounts by bundling that. So, and neither one of us could come up with a strong reason whether 2 versus 3. The only thing that you think about, if something goes up to that, you had to spend that extra, let's say $15,000, a long time to have offset that $1 million additional coverage.
You're convinced this is something we should move
If we're going to continue to have the U.S. Marshal contract, I definitely feel this is important, and it's probably a good thing for the rest of the operation. Ms. Kennedy.
Our claims loss history doesn't justify $2 million, quite honestly. This county's not had any kind of claim that was significant, not anywhere close to $1 million. So we talked about that, but for $15,000, it's that one claim that you end up with a paraplegic with a life expectancy issue and attorney's fees on top of that. State law claims are all capped, of course, so you don't have an issue with, it's $100,000 an incident, $200,000 or $250 per $100,000 per person, $300,000 per incident. So you're not looking at damages in excess, but it's the federal lawsuit, federal litigation that is always our issue. So $2 million or $3 million doesn't really matter. It does pay for counsel for us. Of course, our office will continue to monitor and work with that counsel. We work with tech. I used to be a tech counsel, so I will work with whoever gets appointed to handle the case to monitor it. But ultimately, there's enough issues with handling federal prisoners that are different from our normal jail standards. They're just more strict. That we wanted to make sure we were insured and not having to fight those battles if they came down the road.
So your recommendation would be the 2 or the 3?
I think we talked about going ahead and doing the 3 just because the coverage amount, it's not a lot of difference in price, and that saves you in the event of a catastrophic loss.
Judge, what's your pleasure?
I'd say for the 3. I just think it's for the slight difference that we'll always love saving money. That may be, I haven't forgotten when we changed our deductible from 50 to 75, and one Commissioner Griffith, voted against that, and I'll be danged, the next year we had a claim, first claim we had in years, and so we paid $25,000 more. It far beat the savings in premium, unfortunately.
Well, and I want to say, I would like to thank both the Commissioners Court and the Sheriff, because we tried to do insurance. When I first got here, we looked at buying insurance to cover us for this, and our claims loss history was not in a place that we could to cover ourselves, quite honestly. We have worked very hard, Sheriff has, our medical contract has made a significant difference in our ability to keep our claims down, and so y'all entering into the contracts that you have with Southwest Correctional Medical Group and the Sheriff's Office taking a different role than the previous sheriff and how we handle inmates has really made a significant impact.
How would we move forward with the 3 million?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other comments on the item? Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Harvey. to enter into the law enforcement liability insurance with Texas Association of Counties at the $3 million level. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 7 is discuss, consider, take action. Let me just, hold on just a second. Commander, I'm keeping you all, and I know you're just being unequivocally entertained by us, but did you want to go ahead and present that letter and just give us a brief statement about it as far as our... Yeah, because you wanted, and also you could go ahead, because y'all were saying here, and I know we're gonna go into an afternoon of this, but I'll let, yeah, but you go ahead.
We appreciate that. I wanted to, this is still, the worst thing today, come on up here, this recorder not working. It is working?
Yes, it's
You know,
being
because it's very
televised.
important, because the DAV Chapter 41 and Ms. Lisa Lothanor, I just wanted to invite who's ever looking at us in this today through the recording, that Monday, the 27th, is an important day in the history of this America. It's Memorial Day. And I know it's very important to us as we invite anyone that's hearing me to invite them at 8 o'clock that morning to see and show America how Wichita Falls County and North Texas, how we pay reverence to that day and honor our dead and honor our fallen. And then I think that's Commissioner Beecham's jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. Just like past Commissioner Joe Miller, when he gave us kind of authority what to do out there, it started, and then y'all know with the Eichmann tradition, we got a pavilion, a beautiful pavilion out there, and the brickwork. And it's why I mention this, because Miss Lothanor had a dream, and it's going to happen. And as we get through with Memorial Day event, she is going to, through a committee, to enhance that pauper cemetery, but only with the permission of the commissioners and the court, judge and the court. Because we won't do anything out there to that, because it doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the veterans. It belongs to
the county.
The people.
The people. And out of those people, Commissioner Harvey, we found that now the count is about 80 veterans that are out there that we found. And we're going to do a memorial coming up and so forth. And in this recording also is, we want to thank the county, the constituents of what y'all have done in the last 18 years is for our transportation van. Now the county is up to 100 to 1,300 veterans that we transport to Oklahoma VA Medical Center, and now to Lawton, and now to area here in this county, which we didn't used to, except Oklahoma Medical Center. This is very important that we thank y'all so kindly, because of the funds that are created by y'all. It's just gratifying, and a lot of people don't hear what's going on with the veterans community here. Some of y'all are veterans. Some of y'all have forefathers that are veterans, and that's why the people. You said the people, Commissioner Harvey, and I want to thank y'all, along with my men and women of the DAV, of what is going to happen out there, especially Memorial Day.
I consider it a blessing that we have people like you and this lady right here, that I can't say her last name.
Lothanor.
Lothanor.
It's gonna come in view a lot more, because me and the Commissioner Beecham and her will be speaking on what's gonna happen out there. Just like Joe Miller, and y'all were part of it when you said, let's do something to enhance that. What we're going to, this is the dream, and it's going to happen. It's gonna be a miniature Arlington Cemetery out of
That's
our
going
nation.
to be so amazing.
And then we'll begin with Commissioner, with Mayor Santillana, because the city's involved, right? Judge, you remember? Wasn't it a kind of, at one time we did the city?
Well, we worked with the city on trying to establish a veterans home out there.
There you go.
That's the only involvement they
And I
had.
think we can include them and so forth, but we won't do anything until the permission of y'all and so forth. So,
Okay.
if there's any questions,
And then you are leaving your request with me for our share on a van for
Yes, sir.
2020.
yes, sir. Yep, okay, yes, sir.
Okay.
And that's,
In your letter,
That's the
oh,
letter.
here.
that's the letter.
We'll pass that to the judge or commissioner.
Thank you.
Memorial Day event on Monday, it will be a full, proper celebration of Memorial Day.
That's right. With you, Commissioner, when we've discussed, it's gonna be a Caperson will be involved. I think that the Wichita County Sheriff's Department is involved.
I believe so.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we have a good event, to honor our fallen.
Well, I'm glad it's at 8 o'clock,
Oh, good.
because at 11, we gotta be at work.
And then I'll leave y'all with this, and everyone that is listening, especially, I always send something to you, CJ Secretary, is that correct?
No, that's Joyce. That's all right.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what I was gonna try to challenge everyone. I don't want you to send this flyer when you get this flyer to your friends, because some of us don't have that many friends. Some of them can be counted on your hand. We want to send this to all your contacts, so we can show somebody in Florida, or your relative in Dallas, or your relative in Pennsylvania, that Wichita County steps up to the plate because of y'all, because see, our county officials, that we step up to the plate and help somebody to honor that day. Now remember, don't send it to your friends, Lee, because me and you only got 3.
I know.
And then that's where it stops. Send it to your contacts. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be reverent, that y'all be proud of what's going on in our county.
Well, we'll put that out on the county email system, and but you need to give, Claire's already gone. Did you give her a copy?
Oh yeah,
She
she's gone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Any questions on Ms. Lothenor?
No. Well, we appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm gonna be gone, but y'all will.
I know, we got, yeah, but you know what? I appreciate what you did, Commissioner. That is just the simple things, what you did. Some of these veterans have been shot up in the war, and they're disabled. And what you did, it's just that simple gesture to sit down. Thank y'all so much, guys.
All right. Take care, sir. Gentlemen.
You want us to do a proper about face? We got confused. Well, Commissioner,
Pretty bad when the car notices that, sorry.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Thank y'all, Lee. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
He is always entertaining.
Not always. You haven't been with him always. Interesting could be the other
Always a
word.
long time.
I'm really more much.
Okay. Item 7, discuss, consider, take action to approve the Commercial Industrial Electronics Incorporated proposal for a fire alarm system add-on at the Sprague Jail Annex at a cost of $3,987 to be paid by transfer from general fund contingency. So lines turned by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham, is this your item?
Yeah, pretty simple. It's what's required to keep us in compliance, so.
Where's it going that it hadn't been?
It's at the Sprague Annex. It's all the stuff that they discovered that was out of compliance.
So this is within the confinement facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, it says it's an add-on.
Add-on is not probably the appropriate term.
It's just repair.
It's repair
Maintenance.
and.
Okay.
You know, it is needed equipment to bring it up to current standards.
Okay. That's,
Similar to what we did here at jail facility in this building a few weeks back.
all right. Is there a second?
Second?
Sheriff, any comments, anything from you all?
Oh, no, it's like Mr. Bishop said, it's a must-have, it's not a shall, it's a shall and must,
Yeah.
so they can have.
Okay. All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 8 is discuss and consider take action to approve advanced drainage system quote for polypropylene dual wall culvert pipe for precinct 4 at a cost of $8,924.10 to be paid from Department 224 supplies and operation budget to the lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, this is the culvert order. I don't know which one, I don't know which one of y'all started using the plastic.
Oh, we have.
And this is what this is.
It's cheaper and it is a good product, yes.
Well, these are replacing, all of these culverts go in existing damaged locations that have rotted out. And so that's what this is in an effort to wash the freight as well. And there may be some, this particular order is only precinct 4, but I asked Pete to let everybody know, so if there was something to be added on the load, we could get it on there as well. He hadn't committed for this yet, but this is a workup.
I wish we'd have done this 50 years ago so we could see how they held up. But a lot of our culverts are just rusted and rotted, and they just cave in. And I think this will fix that problem. They're heavy
Ends
duty.
get bent and traffic on these, if you run over them at the ends, they'll pop right back up.
Yeah.
The only thing y'all need to watch is you're doing these at this, we're gonna hit close to 50,000 or not, so you need to look at that.
We've already purchased so much.
Okay.
You also where you're market to get us over it.
Okay, is there a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Any comments in the audience? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Commissioner Beach, an update on the Law Enforcement Center project.
Everything continues to go well. Aggregately, we're on schedule. There are some trades that are behind due to the weather, but is on the whole, the project is on schedule. Some things are over schedule. We did take temporary delivery of a mock-up cell last week. The sheriff's office has reviewed that cell. Found some things that we wanted to change from the design on it, some things that we noted that would not be up to our standards, that we would accept. Edges that you being a welder would not appreciate, and weren't addressed appropriately. There was a design with the bunk, whether it left a little bit to be desired, we'll put it that way. It needed to be rounded off. All in all, the sales was good. It was a good thing that we got to see it, make adjustments to our design from that. So.
Doesn't sound like it's a real design change. It's a quality standard.
Some quality issues and some minor modifications, some tweaks to make it better for our needs. Nothing huge, but there were some quality issues that we didn't know, particularly the welds and the grinds. It left a little bit to be desired. There were some sharp edges that shouldn't have been there. So all that was noted and talked to Cornerstone about, so hopefully they're going to take some care of it before we take it delivery of ours. So I would not have accepted that one.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. We're down to public comment. Anyone in the audience have anything to bring up? Sheriff.
It just as nobody knows, the weather is probably on everybody's minds. It should be right now because it's you know it's going to be bad when the Weather Channel is streaming live in Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
So it's a serious issue. Everybody's really be prepared with their precautions on tornado safety. We're the Weather Channel puts everybody in a TORCON, if everybody's familiar with it. We're a 9, which means 90% of a tornado in our area, the bullseye that we're in. So I know we're saying, the local news stands, we're kind of on the outer edge, but I've listened, we had direct reports from the Weather Service, I sent y'all some,
Yeah, that showed we were on the edge also. We're in.
on the edge, but there again, as always says, they don't, the weather doesn't know the limits.
No, that's the other thing, but,
So, either way, it's just, after what we had a couple weeks ago, that kind of got exciting. Luckily, that was on the western side of the county, also eastern side of the county.
it's going that way.
Yeah. When Eastern and Clayton County did some substantial damage over there, it was a pretty close miss for us, but as long as we're dodging bullets, I think we'll be fine.
Good news is, right now, I'm looking at the radar, there's nothing within 300
Nothing counting.
miles.
We're supposed to hit up probably around 3 o'clock. And
It's-
it's gonna go, once it goes, slows down around 9 o'clock, and it's gonna come back to the overnight with the squall lines. And we know squall lines, bring a lot of high winds, 100-mile-an-hour winds and more, and tornadoes. So that'll be in the nighttime, which is gonna be real difficult to see them and, especially get away from them, so.
Best thing to do is prepare for them now.
Very hunker down for the night.
Yep. Debbie had me put all the lawn furniture in the garage and take all her hanging plants down off the back porch, and just stuff like that, that she don't get blown away. And, we got 100 buses in the yard, we can make sure all the windows are up. Well, if you get hail, softball size hail like you talk about, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Well, if you have, this has been, it's live, if you have tornado shelters, they should already make sure they're cleaned out, ready to go. You have safe rooms in the house, make sure you get all your, you got accessories out of it, I think, right? So, that's just what I'm prepared
My son has a go bag that they put together. It's got batteries, flashlights, candles, matches, batteries, charged batteries for cell phones, weather radio in there, a couple of blankets.
Bottle of strong drink.
No, but I thought they were pretty smart, but all they gotta do is grab that duffel bag and go.
My kids were a lot younger, they're 8 to 10 years old. We had to make go bags, and so when we went to inspect our go bags, they had puzzles, games, they had other stuff that they just weren't, they didn't understand. After I told them they needed a bag.
Reese's cups.
They had candy, plenty of candy, they had maybe one pair of underwear, an extra sock, everybody. Had to dump everything and start over.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding socks after 79 because it ripped her back door off. So go back's a good thing. We had a family tornado drill yesterday. We've got all of our stuff ready in the cellar that we were able to get on the program, so.
I told Debbie I wasn't worried about it, I had her insured, it'd be fine. She said I wasn't a beneficiary.
All right. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Commissioner Beecham.
Just reiterate on the Memorial Day celebration, a lot of effort going into it to make it a complete, proper celebration Memorial Day for Wichita County. It's going to be a good event. Well deserved for our fallen veterans. Put their life on the line for us.
Be 8 a.m. Monday at the county cemetery.
Yep.
Okay, anything else, sir? Commissioner Harvey.
The day after that, on the 28th of May, Redneck Culinary Academy will be celebrating our cancer survivors. We'll be doing that at French Country Meadows at 6 o'clock. We have, on the 31st, Friday, we've been requested by Wichita Falls Professional Firefighters Association. They had one of their fireman that just retired, and he's found out he's got stage 4 cancer. So they want to come and celebrate his life. I guess tell them that they love him while he's still here. So we're going to do that on the 31st.
What time?
I don't know yet. I don't know the exact time, but it's supposed to be at the warehouse next door to P2. That's supposed to be. And then CASA is putting together a community celebration of several organizations that benefit children, tend to kids, like Patsy's House, and foster parents, and CASA, and Boys and Girls Club type deal. And they have asked the Redneck Culinary Academy to help them come together and celebrate that on June the 4th. And I have not found out exactly what the location is on that yet. But she says it's going to be about 450 people. So that's going to be a lot of different volunteer organizations coming together. celebrate that.
Okay.
I'd like to invite you to our Memorial Day celebration in Burke Burnett. It's always at 11, and then as soon as our celebration is over with, we just go down the street to the American Legion. We have a good home-cooked meal. Pat Norris has kind of ramrodded that for as long as I can remember. And a lot of those ladies cook some really good food. And it's kind of like eating at grandma's house. So come eat with us, come celebrate our veterans at 11 in Burke Burnett Memorial Cemetery.
Okay. Commissioner Waller.
No, I think the main thing is just with the weather that we've been through, we're falling behind on some areas out in the precinct that we don't like to fall behind on. Grass is getting tall, and there's water standing in the ditch. You can't do a whole lot with it, but we realize it and standing by as quick as we get time to go and trying to do a bunch of road work prep so that we can move forward with a paving operation. So a lot of that going on. And I tell you, in the central part of Wichita County over in Iowa Park, we've got a little baseball team that's pretty good. They're like ranked number 3 in the state right now and winning and continuing on. We hope that'll continue. That's make a trip to Austin. We're hoping that. And there's been several teams in there that have done well this year, but we're proud of them.
They're a good sports year.
They've had a really good sports year. I tell you, those kids are awesome. And what's great about that, you love to see them pick up scholarships. You put a child through college lately, you know how important that is. And we're seeing a lot of that going on all across the county. We appreciate that. A lot of these kids going on and making good things, like the kids we had in here this morning, just doing some great things. And that's our future.
Does your heart good?
Yeah, it really does. See some people do. But anyway, just a lot going on, a lot of work. It's a busy time.
Commissioner Watts?
Yes, I wanted to clarify on, and I may have misunderstood Judge Sons, Judge, a while ago, but the personnel dissolving within the CMO's office, I don't see that happening unless the sheriff absolutely can't work with anybody there. I don't see that necessarily being the case, but the physical office does need to dissolve, and it needs to dissolve immediately. And we need to utilize that space for the new function of jail coordinator.
Well, I think you've got to look at that space in that hallway, those two things, and decides who's going to be where. You've got part of those people operating in that area right now, and the sheriff's going to have to ascertain what we can do and what we may have to make fit until we go into the new facility, which I realize is over a year away. But
now, Meredith, am I correct in understanding that we no longer need the paper at all from the CMO's office? It's not something that we will use as we hit go live. Our process changes.
In the future, right. Now, there's paper down there now for cases that have maybe not been filed with the clerk's offices. CMO is a holding place for the file before the case is actually filed by the district attorney's office with the court. And so they're the holding place. So there's going to be some active cases. The data will be converted in on those active cases, but that paperwork isn't in the system. It'll probably need to all be put into the system so that it's scanned in, because they don't do that currently in LGS. So that process has to happen.
But there's just a little bit of active paper. Most of the paper is dead paper, right? I mean, as far as the storage.
A lot of it is going to be dead paper, because once it is filed with the clerk's offices, all of the CMO paperwork goes up to the clerks and it's scanned into the clerk's file.
Okay.
So yes, the cases that are on file, those are already in there.
Okay.
it's what is right now pending that hasn't been picked up to be assigned to a court.
Right.
But I think the Odyssey software allows for that, where we never could get LGS to make that depository that then would transfer to the district clerk or the county clerk when that case was assigned.
I was just assuming that she was talking about personnel, but the existence of the office does, I mean, it can be washed relatively quickly. I mean, we are going to need a place for the coordinator to begin to develop their work, right?
Yes.
But you've got that, there's the office, whoever the magistrate is sits in there, otherwise the three ladies pretty well fill with their records and stuff. That will eventually phase away. It's gonna be, what do we do with the other two people we've talked about being associated with that office? And quite honestly, you've got Terry Weitenheimer at this supervisor level salary. You know, it's going to depend on how the office plays out and whether we find out, you know, but right now I have told her, you know, she's scheduled at least through the end of the year, and the other people will transfer their salaries over. So it's not going to take as much unplanned salary unless they decide they don't want to work over there.
I just didn't want the stigma out there that the CMO office would linger for a long period of time. I mean, it needs to evolve. It needs to change relatively quickly, and those staff, once this is named, they'll quit working for CMO and begin to work for the coordinator.
But they're going to be, the go live is July 15th. So that same function they're doing now is going to carry, but we're going to try to build in the processes to make that work so that on June 15th we start, July 15th, then we do that. So it's going to be a matter of determining what cases are sitting there waiting to be assigned to a court.
But we'll have a lot of equipment to set up and things for the coordinator's office to use right as they begin their function of, it's a change in the way we're magistrating, I guess, that will actually start happening, and we'll have to get all that coordinated.
Yes.
Yeah. No, with all the rest of the wheels moving, it's going to be a challenge,
Yes.
but it'll happen.
And there was some concerns that that office does other things besides the magistrate.
Right, we understand that they do other things. I mean, we understand that they do show cause hearings and they monitor the bond conditions. And we know the functions of what that office does. The issue mainly is that office has been a duplicate entry point. I mean, everything that they enter is also in the jail, or it's in the clerk's office, or it's in the DA's office. I mean, it's a duplicate entry point.
Yeah.
Duplicate, in fact, in a way that because of the manner in which they enter their information, their own codes for offenses, their own codes for officers, their data wasn't even convertible. So we didn't even convert CMO data because it's entered in
Somewhere else.
Yeah. So, you know, in going forward, yes, there are other functions that those JPs are going to have to do, like the show cause hearings, and we're well aware of that. It's not that nobody's going to be taking care of those, or those are going to be gone. Those are the things that we've got to figure out how those occur. We had to get the people in place so that we can train them to do the job. But what drove this 90% was the new facility. I mean, everything is going to be at the LEC. We've got to have somebody out there to do magistration, and that office should not be in the courthouse anymore. It's got to be the LEC. And it's going to be behind the secure perimeter. So it's got to be, they've got to be jail certified. And then on top of that, pretrial release is down the road for us. That's another very important thing. I think we got really lucky. We dodged a bullet this legislative session that none of the bond reform bills look like they're going to pass. But we are facing that in the future, and that's going to be a substantial and significant burden on counties to figure out who we let out of jail in the first 24 hours. And those people have to be out of the jail with the evidence.
It's just getting from here to there. It's not going to be as smooth a physical thing as we'd like.
Yeah, it's going to be a little clunky with the two facilities and trying to take care of that right now, but we'll get there.
But Meredith, most counties, I was, I guess, amazed, they don't have CMO offices.
No.
And we have one because
The judges wanted to do that.
Because we were losing paperwork and we had an inefficient system because the software kept everybody in separate silos. You have 5 at a minimum, but it probably, if you kind of weekend magistrating and Judge Gillen, then you even separated it more. And so bringing it all together on CMO brought that all together where we could find the paperwork most of the time. It was a clumsy system,
And you had, literally in the jail, when somebody comes into the jail, there's paperwork that, like PC affidavit, and the arrest report, and the CCQ, that they're having to send to the JP's office, and then they're having to buy paper, figure out how to set up all the registration paperwork, know if it requires an EPO, know if it requires bond conditions, and do all of that paper by hand, whereas now, because of the system and the ability of Odyssey to do things in such a way that's so much more advanced than LGS, all of that paperwork is automatically created by Odyssey. So there's no generation of paperwork for registration. It's automatically set up. Once they finish booking that person in, they're ready for registration.
What Meredith just explained, how that process, all the things that together, being done by a jailer or a jail corporal, maybe sergeant, in addition to answering the phones, the emails, the security of the facility, opening doors, unlocking doors, it's just taking bonds.
Yeah,
taking bonds, talking about bonds, it's just constant. So that'll really get the jail person to go back to their job, safety, security of the jail, the inmates, take care of it.
And not, Lisa was sharing with me, I mean, we feel like that this is probably a 4-person office all said and done initially anyway. I mean, we think we can function that way.
Yeah. Eventually, if we get some sort of bond reform, I think we're gonna end up needing to make that office bigger because you're gonna have a pretrial component to that, but I think.
Well, it's extended hours too, it's not 8 to 5. Monday
Right,
through Friday.
and we have built in some extended hours for Monday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, but we have the ability, and we've decided we're not gonna take bonds 24 hours a day, because of the new facility, that would be pretty difficult. So, we've put a lot of thought into this. I promise it was not a quick decision. We have thought about this since we visited Collin County on one of our initial sites.
Well, is this office gonna be open 24 hours a day?
no.
That
We're
actually,
also not gonna release inmates every time turn around. It's gonna be certain times we're gonna release them.
that HMO
Schedule.
office, when it came on board, it did help with our jail population. It did streamline some things.
Will this software do what Terry's been doing? Making
Not-
sure that everybody's in compliance and getting them in and out?
More so now than what we have been. I mean, we've had jailers doing some of the job with indigent defense paperwork. Now jail coordinator's gonna be responsible for that, so we'll be more in compliance with that. There will be timelines set in, for registration to make sure all of that's done. The CCQ stuff will be automatic and put with the person's file. I mean, all of the things that, we looked at everything, we really did look at everything they do and figure out a way to make sure that those are done efficiently and electronically in the new system.
And I'm assuming that there will be some people that are arraigned that never went into the jail.
Yes,
Yeah,
And
that's
which
the
will
goal.
keep us
Absolutely.
cost a lot of,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a significant, you think about, you take somebody from Bookend, we can hold what, 12, 13 now before we start moving them?
They can be down there for 14 hours and we can hold 21.
Yeah, so now we'll have a bookend area that can hold 72 for up to 48 hours. And so, yeah, they're not going into housing until they've been magistrated. If they're gonna get a PR bond, they're gonna get out. If they're gonna get a bond that they can get from their local surety, they're gonna get out. That's gonna save, all of the, everything you have to issue to that inmate to put them in housing and the staff time to get them classified and moved. Significant difference.
I was afraid that Judge Sons I got to thinking about her question and I just didn't want to, what my thoughts were personnel, not the office remaining.
Yeah, okay, we'll get there, but it's gonna take some growing pain to get through there, all right. At noon today, at Wichita County Republican Women, we're gonna make that. Second thing, Wednesday, 9 a.m., anybody not gonna be here for payroll and jail and all that? Everybody's here, okay. I'll be speaking to the Burke Rotary tomorrow for lunch. Thursday, we'll have an out briefing with Texas Veterans Commission person for Commissioner Mahler and me. And then 11 o'clock here. Meredith, you and I, and 2:30 today with Ed Hazeldine, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Watts, if you want to sit on that, that's trying to work it out, tie him down for the last.
Is he coming?
No,
No, we'll just conference call with you.
conference call with
Discuss.
him. And then I will be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. But I have, my goal is to go through Tyler University and work on the budget during that time.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you ever just go do something for yourself and enjoy your vacation?
I enjoy that, doing that in that solitude.
Joyce and I went.
What about fishing?
2:30 today, is he saying?
Boating or-
2:30 today.
Yeah, because you.
Having fun.
I do that between 7 a.m. and 1.
That keeps him from having to shop all day.
Exactly.
You don't-
There, I very thanks, you just blew all that.
You don't understand the system.
Okay, we are reconvening at 1:30 today to have a briefing from Billy Hughes on the vehicle purchases. And we will have a closed session then, Meredith, or did you want to do that now? Or
That's it. I mean, we can do it now if you want.
Let's go eat. We're going to the road.
we're going to run to, let's do that. We'll do it first. Nancy let Billy know that he'll have to wait. I don't think we'll be more than about 15 minutes doing that, to tell you the truth. So it might be 1:45 before we get him. But if we all get back from lunch sooner, we could start sooner. So, but roughly it'll be in approximately 1:20 to 1:30 when we reconvene. All right.
Okay.
It's
You're the program. You're the program.
11:42 and we'll